Hey everyone. So, have you ever felt like you just, you wish you had more inner strength,
Oh, yeah, totally.
like to just handle everything life throws at you?
All the curveballs.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely not alone.
Not at all.
And today we're going to do a deep dive that just might have some answers.
For sure.
We're looking at this essay by Joseph Aminian. It's called 14 Essential Habits of Mentally Strong People.
Right. And, it sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
but is it actually legit?
Yeah. Are these real?
Well, luckily you sent me a bunch of studies,
Oh, yeah.
so we can see if the science really backs it up.
Awesome. Okay, so let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Aminian's first habit is all about ditching the self-pity.
Oh, okay.
He's basically saying, like, mentally strong people, they don't sit around moping.
Yeah, they don't get stuck in that.
Yeah, complaining about stuff they can't change.
Right.
Instead, they're like, okay, setback, more like a setup for a comeback.
I love that.
Right.
It's such a good way to think about it.
They use it as fuel.
Yeah, to get better.
And that idea, that whole turning setbacks into opportunities,
Yeah.
that's actually backed by research on resilience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's this study from 2022 by Galley and Gonzalez, and they found that resilience is like super linked to well-being.
Interesting.
And basically, resilient people, they're really good at adapting to stress and bouncing back from tough times.
So it's not just like a motivational quote, it's like a real thing.
Exactly. It's like a skill you can build. It's
Yeah.
like, instead of woe is me, it's
Yeah.
watch me.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we, I know sometimes I get really stuck
Yeah.
when things go wrong.
Yeah.
How do you think people can actually start to reframe these challenges and see them as opportunities?
Well, I think it's definitely a practice.
Okay.
It's not just like a one-time fix,
Yeah.
and it's something you have to work at.
Right.
Speaking of working at something, Aminian's next habit is all about embracing change.
Oh, interesting.
He's saying that change is going to happen anyway,
Yeah.
so why fight it? Makes sense.
Right. So mentally strong people see change as a chance to learn and grow, kind of like a surfer riding a wave.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a study, actually, by
Uh,
Siebers and some other researchers that was published just this year.
Okay.
They found that people who are psychologically flexible, and what they mean by that is people who can like adapt their thinking and behavior
Mm,
as things change,
yeah.
they just handle those curveballs so much better.
It makes sense.
They experience less stress, they bounce back quicker, and generally they just have better well-being.
Exactly. It's like there's that saying, the only constant is change.
Yeah.
And this study basically shows that being able to go with the flow, like mentally and emotionally, it's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Instead of getting rigid and breaking under pressure,
Yeah.
you kind of bend and adapt.
That's so cool.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about letting go of the self-pity,
Yep.
embracing change. Now, his third habit is about focusing on what you can control.
Okay.
This one I feel like is pretty practical.
Yeah, it seems very straightforward.
It's about like channeling your energy where it actually matters,
Right.
instead of stressing over things you can't change.
Totally. Like, why waste energy on that?
Right. And there's actually research showing that this sense of control can impact our physical health too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in 2024, there was a study by Sia and some other colleagues, and they found that people who felt like they had more control over their lives were actually less likely to die.
Wow. So it's not just about feeling better mentally.
Yeah.
It's literally about living longer.
It can actually impact your lifespan. That's wild.
That's amazing.
So like, what are some things that you tend to worry about that are totally outside of your control?
That's a good question.
Yeah. And how can we shift our focus to what we can influence?
I think that's something we all need to think about,
Yeah.
for sure.
So moving on to Aminian's fourth habit, it's about acting with kindness.
Oh, kindness.
Yeah, so you might be thinking like, okay, how is that mentally strong?
Yeah, at first glance, it doesn't seem like
Yeah.
the most obvious connection.
But he's saying that it's actually a source of strength, not weakness.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's actually research to back this up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so in 2022, there was a study by Tang and Lei,
Okay.
and they looked at what's called inclusive leadership,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically all about leading with kindness and fairness.
Okay.
And they found that that creates this sense of what they call psychological safety.
Interesting.
So it's like when you feel supported
Yeah.
and safe,
Yeah.
you're more likely to like do your best work and kind of be your best self.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so switching gears a bit, Aminian's fifth habit is about taking calculated risks.
Okay.
So he's saying that mentally strong people, They aren't afraid to step outside of their comfort zones.
Mhm.
They know that that's how you grow
For
when you push those boundaries a little bit.
And there's a study on that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 2023, Keith and some colleagues, they found that people who take calculated risks,
Hmm.
they tend to be more successful in a lot of different areas of life.
Mm.
They build self-confidence, resilience, and adaptability,
Yeah.
which are all super important for success.
So it's not about being reckless.
No.
It's about
Yeah.
making, like, smart moves.
Yeah.
Right.
Calculated risks. Exactly.
Have you ever taken a chance that, like, really paid off?
Oh, tons of times.
Yeah, and, like, how good did that feel?
The best.
Yeah.
It's such a good feeling.
Okay, so this ties in with the Minion's next habit,
Yeah.
which is all about celebrating other people's successes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of us
Struggle with that.
struggle with this.
Yeah.
You know, we get jealous or we compare ourselves.
Totally.
But a Minion's saying that strong people, they don't feel threatened by other people's achievements.
Okay.
They genuinely support and cheer others on.
I like that. It's like
Yeah.
recognizing that someone else's win doesn't take away from yours at all. It's like that abundance mindset. So there's enough success for everyone.
Yes, and it's also about, like, building strong relationships.
Oh, for sure.
And creating a positive and supportive environment.
Definitely.
So instead of seeing it as a threat, you see it as like, oh, that's cool. That gives me ideas.
Totally. It's inspiration.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so a Minion's seventh habit reminds us that everyone makes mistakes,
Of course.
but they don't define us.
Right.
Mentally strong people don't dwell on their mistakes or let them, like, erode their self-worth. They view them as opportunities for learning and growth.
Which is such a healthier perspective.
It is, but so hard sometimes
Yeah.
to, like, let go of those mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's challenging us to see them as feedback.
Right. Like information.
Yeah, valuable information.
Exactly.
What about you when you make a mistake? What's your process for analyzing it and, like, taking something good from it?
I try to think about, what went wrong.
Yeah.
But also what I can learn from it and how I can do things differently next time.
Yeah, that's so important.
And that actually leads perfectly into a Minion's eighth habit, which is all about being open to feedback.
Oh.
So he's saying that mentally strong people don't shy away from constructive criticism.
Yeah.
They actually seek it out and use it to get better.
Interesting.
And in 2021, Wasowich and some other researchers, they did a study and found that being psychologically flexible, that ability to, like, adjust our thinking and behavior is so crucial for navigating stressful situations, including receiving feedback.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when we're flexible and open-minded, we can actually take that feedback in without getting defensive.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you normally react to feedback?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, and how can you maybe approach it with a more open mind?
That's something for all of us to think about. It's a skill we can definitely work on.
For sure.
Okay, so a Minion's ninth habit is all about building social confidence. He believes that strong people are able to connect with others authentically and build meaningful relationships.
Yeah, that's so key.
It is.
For sure. And there's actually research showing how important that authenticity is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so in 2024, Schlegel and some colleagues did this study,
Okay.
and they found that living authentically, like really aligning your actions with your values,
Yeah.
that's strongly linked to well-being,
Okay.
higher self-esteem, and even a sense of meaning in life.
That makes sense.
Right, it's like all those things we need for a good life.
Totally. Yeah.
So it's not about, like, pretending to be someone you're not.
Right.
It's about showing up as your true self
Yeah.
or connecting with people on a real level.
But that can be hard sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, really put yourself out there.
It's scary.
What about you? What helps you feel more confident in those situations?
I think for me, it's about remembering that everyone's kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to connect and be ourselves.
Yeah. How can we bring more of our authentic selves to those interactions?
I think it's about finding that balance between being genuine,
Yeah.
but also respectful of others.
Right.
So a Minion's 10th habit
Right.
is all about focusing on solutions.
Okay.
So he says mentally strong people, they don't waste time dwelling on problems.
Right.
They just, like, shift gears and start brainstorming solutions.
So it's about being proactive
Exactly.
instead of reactive.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, and I think next time you hit a snag, it's helpful to remember that.
Yeah.
Like, don't get bogged down in the problem itself.
Right.
Focus on the solutions.
Yeah. What can you do?
Exactly.
Okay. A Minion's 11th habit emphasizes respecting others' opinions even when we don't agree.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is, especially these days. It's
Yeah.
like everyone's just shouting their opinions all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's saying that mentally strong people, they can actually have respectful dialogue. They
Okay.
can consider different viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't get all defensive when someone disagrees with them.
That's so important.
It is.
It's about realizing that everyone has their own experiences
Yeah.
and perspectives that shapes their views.
Yeah.
So it's not about always agreeing,
Right.
but about creating space for healthy conversation.
Okay, so we don't have to change our own views
Right.
to acknowledge and respect someone else's.
Exactly.
Which actually leads into Aminion's 12th habit, which is about embracing authenticity.
Oh, yeah. Full circle.
Yeah, he's saying that mentally strong people, they're comfortable being themselves.
Yeah.
They don't try to fit in or conform.
Mm-hmm.
They just own who they are.
And in 2017, Braun and some other researchers, they looked at authentic leadership,
Oh, okay.
which is basically about aligning your actions with your values. And they found that it has a really positive impact, not just on work performance,
Okay.
but also work-life balance and well-being.
So it's not just about work.
Right.
It's about life in general.
Totally. It's about being your whole self
Everywhere.
in every situation.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, what parts of yourself do you feel like you hold back sometimes?
That's a good one.
Yeah. And how can we be more authentic?
I think that's something we can all reflect on,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. So Aminion's 13th habit is about practicing gratitude.
Oh, gratitude.
Yeah, he says that mentally strong people, they make an effort to appreciate the good things, even when times are tough.
Even when it's hard.
Yeah, and that can be really hard
Oh, yeah, for sure.
when you're going through something difficult.
It's so easy to focus on the negative.
Right.
But research shows that even little things like keeping a gratitude journal
Yeah.
can have a huge impact on our happiness.
Really?
Yeah, and on our resilience, too.
Interesting. And speaking of resilience, that's actually Aminion's 14th and final habit,
Oh,
cultivating resilience.
it all comes together.
Yeah, so this is about developing the strength to bounce back from those setbacks. Yeah, to overcome challenges and really thrive, even when things are tough.
It's like that inner fire
Yeah.
that keeps you going,
Totally.
even when you want to give up.
And it's something you build over time,
Okay.
like a muscle.
Oh,
You know, every time you face a setback and you bounce back,
Yeah.
you're making that muscle stronger.
And there's research that shows that people who develop those coping mechanisms and learn to adapt, they're more resilient
Exactly.
and better equipped to handle future challenges.
For sure.
So the more we challenge ourselves and learn from those experiences, the stronger we become.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a process.
Totally.
So what about you? What are your strategies for bouncing back?
For me, I think having people to talk to is really important.
Oh, yeah, a good support system.
Like a support network.
Makes such a difference.
And sometimes I just need to, take a break,
Oh, yeah,
do something fun.
totally.
And that kind of helps reset things.
Yeah, gives you a fresh perspective. Yeah. How about you? What are your resilience boosters?
Well, I've gotten really into mindfulness stuff lately.
Oh, yeah.
Like meditation and deep breathing.
Okay.
They really help me stay grounded, especially when things are crazy.
Yeah. And like we were saying, having that support system is so key.
It really is.
So we've covered a lot today.
We have
All 14 of Aminion's habits for building mental strength.
14.
I know it's a lot.
It's impressive.
But it's been so interesting to see how the research really supports these ideas.
Totally.
Like ditching self-pity, embracing change, focusing on what we can control,
Right.
acting with kindness, taking those calculated risks, celebrating other people's successes, learning from our mistakes, staying open to feedback, building social confidence,
Yeah.
focusing on solutions, respecting different opinions, embracing authenticity.
It's a lot to remember, right?
But it's good stuff.
Practicing gratitude
Yes.
and cultivating resilience.
Like a whole toolkit.
It is, for building an unbreakable mind. It really is. And what's so cool is that these habits all work together.
Yeah.
They build on each other.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly. The more you practice one, the easier it is to do the others.
Yeah. And the best part is you don't have to be perfect.
Oh, for sure.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
They don't have to master all 14 overnight.
No way.
Even starting with 1 or 2 can make a huge difference.
Totally. Small steps.
So as you're thinking about all of this, what stands out to you?
Yeah, what really resonates?
And what's one small step you can take today to start building that habit?
That's the question.
That's the big question.
The big question.
We hope this deep dive has been helpful
We hope so.
and given you some tools and some hope.
Yeah.
Remember, building mental strength is a journey.
It's a process.
It's not a destination.
Exactly.
Every step counts.
No matter how small.
You got this.
We believe in you.